The battlefield burned red under two suns. Metal ships screamed across the sky, their engines leaving trails of white smoke. The ground shook with explosions. Human and alien soldiers fought side by side, their weapons glowing blue and red in the dusty air. Captain Ryland Graves ran through the chaos. His armor cracked, his face covered in blood and sweat. His squad was gone, burned away in the last plasma blast. Yet he didn't stop. His mission was not complete. Somewhere beyond the smoke, the Zathari Princess Althea was trapped. The princess was not human. Her skin shimmered like silver glass and her eyes glowed faintly gold. She was the only reason the humans still had a chance. If she died, the peace treaty would die with her. Ryland pushed forward, firing his rifle until it overheated. He could barely hear over the roar of cannons and dying men. His heart pounded like a drum. Then he saw her. The princess standing alone, her royal guards dead around her. A massive alien war machine aimed its plasma cannon at her. Ryland didn't think. He just ran. Move, he shouted, sprinting faster than his body could handle. The cannon fired. He threw himself between the princess and the blast. The explosion tore through his armor, burning deep into his chest. Pain shot through every nerve in his body. He fell to his knees, gasping for air, his vision fading. The princess caught him before he hit the ground. "Why?" she whispered. Her voice trembled, more human than he expected. Ryland tried to speak, but blood filled his mouth. "You're the last hope," he managed to say. Her eyes widened, not with fear, but with shock. "You shouldn't exist," she murmured. Then darkness swallowed him. When Ryland opened his eyes again, everything was silent. He was floating. A white light surrounded him. For a moment he thought he was dead, but then he felt the sting of needles and heard machines beeping softly. He was alive. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy. He looked down. He was inside a med pod, a glass capsule filled with healing mist. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. It wasn't human technology. The door hissed open and someone stepped in. It was Princess Althea. She wore a long silver robe, her golden eyes softer now. "You are safe," she said quietly. "You are on my ship." Ryland blinked in confusion. "Your ship? Where is my team?" "They didn't make it," she said, her voice breaking. "But you saved me. You saved us all." Ryland tried to sit up, but pain shot through his body. "You should have left me," he said. "Humans and your kind. We don't mix well." The princess looked at him strangely. "You don't understand, Captain Graves. You are part of something greater now." "The prophecy," she stopped herself. "What prophecy?" he asked. Her eyes darted to the walls as if afraid someone was listening. "Not now," she whispered. "The Queen must not know you are alive. She believes you died on the battlefield. It must stay that way." Ryland frowned. "Your mother wants me dead?" Althea looked away. "She believes all humans are dangerous. But you are different. Your blood reacted to the plasma blast. It saved me. It saved both of us. What are you saying?" She stepped closer, her hand glowing faintly as she touched the scar on his chest. "When your blood touched mine, something changed. The scanners show energy, human and Zathari combined. It has never happened before." Ryland stared at her in disbelief. "You mean I'm infected?" "No," she said firmly. "You are evolving." Before he could respond, an alarm echoed through the med bay. Red lights flashed. Althea's expression changed, fear and urgency. "They found us," she whispered. "We have to go." "Who found us?" "My mother's fleet." Ryland tried to stand, but his legs gave way. The princess pulled him up, wrapping his arm around her shoulder. Despite her delicate frame, she was strong, far stronger than human. As they stumbled toward the ship's escape corridor, Ryland looked through a glass window. Outside, enormous royal ships appeared, glowing blue like ghosts in space. The Queen's voice echoed through the comms, cold and commanding. "Bring me the human. Alive or dead." The ship shook as lasers hit the hull. Althea turned to Ryland. "You saved me once," she said. "Now I will save you." He tried to smile through the pain. "Seems fair." The ship jumped into hyperspace, stars stretching into lines of light. The battlefield was gone, but Ryland's nightmare had just begun. The stars outside the window moved like silver rain. The ship drifted silently through the dark, far from the battlefield. Inside the medical bay, Captain Ryland Graves sat on the edge of the healing pod, his chest still burning from the plasma wound. His reflection stared back at him from the glass wall. Tired eyes, half dead but still breathing. He should have been home. He should have been buried with his squad. But instead he was alive, on an alien royal ship, hiding from the most powerful woman in the galaxy. The door slid open with a whisper. Princess Althea stepped in quietly, carrying a small silver container that glowed faintly blue. She looked different now, her royal armor gone, her hair tied loosely, her expression softer but worried. "You should rest," she said gently. "I've done enough resting," Rylan replied. His voice was rough. "Tell me why your mother wants me dead." Althea looked around the room before answering. "Because you are human. Because you bled for me. And because of what your blood has become," he frowned. "What does that even mean?" She opened the container. Inside was a vial of blood, his blood. It shimmered like liquid light. "When you saved me, your blood mixed with mine. The medpod analyzed it. It's changing." Rylan stared at it. "Changing how?" "Your cells are copying Zathari energy patterns," she explained. "You are part human, part something else now. The Queen fears what that means," he laughed weakly. "So I'm some kind of alien science project?" She shook her head. "No, you are something different. Something the old writings called the bridge. A living bond between two races." Rylan's jaw tightened. "You're talking like this is fate." "I don't believe in destiny, Princess." "Neither do I," she said softly. "But the universe doesn't care what we believe." For a moment, silence filled the room. Only the hum of the ship could be heard. Althea stepped closer, studying the wound on his chest. "You're healing faster than you should. Your body is adapting," he looked down. The scar was faint now, almost gone. "Great, maybe I'll live long enough to get shot again." She smiled, a small, rare smile. "You have humor even after death tries to take you." "That's very human." Before he could respond, the lights flickered. The ship's alarm buzzed softly. Althea's expression changed instantly. "We've been found." Rylan grabbed the edge of the bed. "Your mother again?" "No," she whispered. "This signal. It's not Zathari." Suddenly a hologram appeared in the air, a tall, shadowed figure in dark armor. The voice that followed was deep and human. "Captain Graves, you are ordered to surrender the alien and return to command." Rylan froze. "That's Earth Command," but Althea shook her head. "No, listen," the voice continued, cold and mechanical. "The human subject must be secured. Do not let it contaminate others. Terminate if necessary." Rylan's blood ran cold. "They're calling me a subject." Althea stepped closer. "Now you understand. They don't want peace. They want control. And you are proof that humans can merge with us. That terrifies them." The hologram vanished, leaving silence behind. Rylan stared at the floor. The people he once trusted now saw him as a weapon. "So I'm hunted by your queen, and my own planet," he muttered. "Yes," Althea said quietly, "and soon the entire galaxy will know your name." He looked up at her. "Why are you helping me, Princess? You could hand me over and be safe." Althea hesitated, then said, "Because you didn't have to save me. You didn't know me, yet you risked your life. No one in the royal court would ever do that. You reminded me what courage looks like." Her voice trembled at the last words, as if she was fighting emotions she didn't want to show. Rylan met her gaze. "And what happens now?" She turned to the control panel. "Now we run!" The ship roared to life, engines flaring blue. Rylan stumbled as gravity shifted. "Where are we going?" "To the one place the Queen's scanners can't reach," she said. "The lower moons of Karthos. My mother's forbidden zone." He frowned. "Why forbidden?" "Because something sleeps there," she replied. "Something ancient. Something that knows the truth about the prophecy." The stars stretched again as the ship entered hyperspace. Rylan leaned against the wall, staring at the swirling tunnel of light. He didn't know what awaited them, death, freedom, or something far stranger. But deep inside, a new energy pulsed under his skin. His blood was no longer human, no longer alien, it was both. And with every beat of his heart, he felt the universe watching. The royal throne room floated high above the clouds of Zethar Prime, a place of beauty and fear. Thousands of crystal towers shone beneath it, their lights reflecting off the Queen's golden armor. She stood silent before the great star window, her eyes cold and endless like space itself. Behind her, royal guards knelt, their heads bowed. A messenger drone hovered in the air, replaying a report from the battlefield. The image showed Captain Rylan Graves alive, standing beside her daughter, Princess Althea. The Queen's voice was soft, but deadly. "So the human lives." The guards didn't dare speak. She turned slowly. "He bleeds for the princess, and now my daughter hides him. She risks the throne for a creature of flesh and dirt." Her advisor, an old alien with silver markings on his face, stepped forward carefully. "Your Majesty, the prophecy— I know the prophecy." The Queen hissed. "A human who bleeds for royal blood will bring change to the stars. But change is chaos, and I will not let chaos rule my empire." She raised her hand. "Find them. Bring me the human alive, and if my daughter resists—" Her voice grew quiet. "Make her forget him." The room fell silent. The Queen's eyes glowed brighter, reflecting her anger, and something deeper. Fear. Far away on the forbidden moons of Karthos, Rylan and Althea's ship landed in a canyon surrounded by black ice and strange mist. The air shimmered with electric light. It was a dead world, or so it seemed. Rylan stepped out carefully, his boots crunching on frozen ground. "You sure this place is safe?" Althea adjusted a scanner on her wrist. "Safe? No. Hidden?" "Yes, my mother's scanners can't reach here. The energy on this moon bends signals." Rylan looked up at the sky. "Feels like the air's watching us." Althea gave a small smile. "It probably is." They moved toward a giant cave, its entrance glowing faint blue. Inside, the walls were covered in carvings, symbols older than any empire. The carvings showed humans and Zathari together, holding hands, standing before a burning star. Rylan stopped to stare. "What is this?" "This is what the Queen fears," Althea said softly. "Proof that humans and Zathari were once one people, long before history began." Rylan touched one of the carvings. "So this happened before the wars?" "Yes. The old legends say our ancestors came from the same star. But pride and greed separated us. My mother believes humans are weak." "But you proved her wrong." Rylan turned to her. "If she's so powerful, why does she fear me?" "Because your blood did something impossible," Althea replied. "It joined with mine. The last time that happened, an empire fell." Before Rylan could answer, the cave trembled. Dust fell from above. A voice echoed through the shadows, deep and metallic. "Althea of Zethar." "And the human who bleeds light." Rylan froze. "Who's there?" A figure stepped from the dark, tall, covered in silver armor that shimmered like smoke. Its eyes glowed white. Althea bowed slightly. "Guardian of Karthos," she said. "We seek answers." The Guardian's voice was calm but cold. "You seek what your mother hides. But truth comes with a price." Rylan clenched his fist. "We've paid enough in blood." The Guardian tilted its head. "Not enough." The Queen moves her shadow across the stars. "She hunts you even now." Althea's eyes widened. "How?" "We're beyond her reach." "Not her eyes," said the Guardian. "Her will." Rylan turned sharply. "Meaning?" The Guardian raised its hand and an image appeared in the air. The Queen, standing before her armies. Her ships filled the sky, engines burning bright. Her voice thundered through the vision. "Bring them to me. The human and my daughter are bound by cursed blood. If he lives, we all fall." Rylan's jaw tightened. "She's going to destroy everything just to stop me." Althea looked at him, her eyes full of guilt. "She will burn worlds to erase what we've become." The Guardian lowered its hand. "You cannot run forever, human. The Queen's shadow reaches every star. You must face her." Rylan stared at the hologram, his pulse racing. "Then we fight." "But I won't kill your mother." Althea stepped closer. "You might not have a choice." The Guardian looked at them both. "The prophecy has begun. The bridge between species stands here. The question is, will it unite the stars, or destroy them?" The cave's light dimmed. The Guardian vanished like smoke. Silence returned, heavy and cold. Rylan turned to Althea. "So what now?" She met his eyes. "Now, we prepare for war." Outside, the sky rumbled with thunder. The Queen's fleet was already on its way, and in the shadows of space, destiny waited, watching both mother and daughter draw closer to a battle that could end empires. The frozen winds of Karthos howled through the canyon as Captain Rylan Graves stared into the endless dark sky. The stars were quiet, too quiet. Every instinct in him screamed that something was wrong. Princess Althea worked silently beside a small fire, her silver hands moving across a damaged transmitter. The flames painted soft gold on her glass-like skin. "If I can fix this," she whispered, "we might contact someone who can help us." Rylan watched her for a moment, his thoughts heavy. "And if we can't?" "Then we fight alone," she said without looking up. The silence stretched between them, not of comfort, but of fear. A low beep broke the stillness. The transmitter blinked to life. A voice crackled through, deep and familiar. "Captain Graves, this is Admiral Kane of Earth Command. Do you copy?" Rylan's heart nearly stopped. "Admiral Kane?" he said, rushing forward. "Sir, I'm alive. The princess is with me. We need extraction. The Queen is hunting us." For a moment, only static replied. Then the Admiral's calm voice returned. "We know, son. We've been tracking your signal. We're proud of you, Rylan. You've done well." Rylan exhaled with relief. "Thank God, send a rescue team. Already on its way," Kane interrupted. "Stay put. And, Captain, make sure the princess remains unharmed." Something in his tone made Rylan hesitate. "Sir, what does that mean?" But the signal cut out. Althea looked up, her golden eyes full of suspicion. "He found us too fast," she said. "That's not possible without a trace beacon." Rylan frowned. "Beacon?" She walked toward him slowly. "The med pod on my ship. It was human-made, wasn't it?" Rylan froze. He remembered the small metal tag on the pod's base. The Earth logo burned into it. "No," he whispered. "That can't be." Althea's face hardened. "It means your people never lost track of you. They wanted to find you. You were never free." Rylan's pulse quickened. They used me?" "Yes," she said softly. "You weren't just a soldier to them. You were an experiment." Before he could reply, the ground shook violently. A blue light burst from the sky, Earth warships dropping through the atmosphere. Their engines roared like thunder. Rylan's communicator beeped again. "Captain Graves, this is Commander Holt. We're here to retrieve you. Step away from the alien." Rylan shouted into the mic. "She's not the enemy." "Negative," Holt replied coldly. "You've been contaminated. Orders are to bring you both in. If you resist, we'll use force." Althea's hand tightened around his arm. "They will take you, Rylan. They will dissect you to learn what your blood can do." He looked at her, torn between duty and survival. "These are my people. I can reason with them." She shook her head. "No, they betrayed you long before you bled for me." Moments later, the first human dropships landed. Soldiers in black armor surrounded them, rifles glowing blue. One of them stepped forward and helmet off. It was Lieutenant Vega, Rylan's old squad mate, Vega. Rylan said in disbelief. "You're alive." Vega's face was blank, his eyes cold. "Orders are orders, Captain. You're coming with us." Rylan stepped closer. "Listen to me. The Queen's fleet is coming. If we don't work together, we're all dead." But Vega raised his rifle. "This isn't your concern anymore. You're not human." "Not fully." The words hit Rylan like a blade. "What did you say?" Vega's hand trembled slightly. "Your blood test came back from orbit. You're part Zathari now. A hybrid." Rylan's chest tightened. "That's impossible." "It's science," Vega said quietly. "And command doesn't allow mixed species. You're a threat." Before Rylan could answer, a plasma shot rang out. A human soldier fell, armor smoking. Althea stood beside Rylan, her weapon glowing. "They'll never stop," she said. "They don't want peace, Rylan. They want power." The battlefield exploded into chaos. Blue and red energy beams tore through the night. Rylan fought beside Althea, his instincts burning, his mind screaming in disbelief. These were his brothers, and now they wanted him dead. He grabbed Vega's arm during the fight, slamming him to the ground. "Who gave the order?" Rylan demanded. Vega coughed blood. "The Queen. And command. They're working together. You're just a pawn in their game." Rylan froze, his grip loosening. "Working together?" "Yes," Vega gasped. "They made a deal." "They'll share your body." "Your blood," Althea's eyes widened. "No." Rylan stepped back, his entire world collapsing inside him. "So both sides want me dead." Vega nodded weakly. "You were never supposed to survive that battle." A sudden explosion threw Rylan across the rocks. When the dust cleared, the human ships were retreating, chased by incoming Zathari warships. Rylan coughed, his body shaking. Althea ran to him, pulling him up. "You see now," she whispered. "This war was never between species. It was between truth and control." Rylan looked at the burning sky where Earth ships and Zathari vessels destroyed each other. Then we end it, he said, his voice low but steady. No more queens. No more orders. No more lies. Althea met his eyes, and for the first time she smiled sadly. Then you are ready for what comes next. Above them, the Queen's flagship appeared like a dark star, its shadow covering the moon. The final hunt had begun. The Queen's flagship hung above the frozen moon like a black crown. It was massive, miles wide, made of living metal that pulsed with blue veins of energy. From orbit, it looked calm, but inside it was alive with fire and fear. Captain Ryland Graves was dragged down a silver hallway by 2 armored guards. His hands were bound in glowing chains that burned when he moved. Behind him, the massive doors opened with a hiss. He was led into the throne chamber of Zethar Prime. The chamber was breathtaking. Floating crystals, shifting lights, and a great window that showed the burning stars outside. The Queen stood at the center, tall and terrifying in her golden armor. Her crown shimmered like the sun. Ryland stopped a few feet from her. His eyes met hers. Cold, powerful, ancient. So, she said softly, her voice echoing across the chamber. The human who refused to die. Ryland's voice was steady. You could have just thanked me. I saved your daughter's life. The Queen smiled, but it wasn't kindness. You did more than save her. You changed her. You poisoned her blood with your humanity. I didn't ask for this, Ryland said sharply. I didn't want to be part of your prophecy. Yet here you are, she replied. The bridge, the cursed bond between 2 races. Your blood carries power my empire cannot control. He stepped closer despite the pain from his chains. Then why not kill me and end it? The Queen's expression darkened. Because I don't want to kill you, Captain. I want to use you, Ryland frowned. Use me? She moved closer, her golden eyes shining like fire. The humans betrayed you. My own daughter hides from me, but you could be greater than both. Serve me and I will make you more than human. I will make you eternal, Ryland's jaw tightened. You want a weapon? I want balance, she said. Your blood and my command could end centuries of war. Together we could rule the stars. Ryland laughed bitterly. Rule? I didn't bleed on that battlefield for crowns and thrones. I bled to protect life and even yours. The Queen's face softened for the first time. Do you think I wanted this war, human? My people were dying long before your kind arrived. The prophecy promised salvation, but every savior brings blood. I have lost too much already. For a moment he saw something behind her pride, sorrow, loneliness. But then her gaze turned sharp again. Swear loyalty to me and I will spare your world. Defy me, and I will erase every trace of your species from the stars. Ryland met her eyes. You can kill me, but you'll never control me. Silence filled the room. The Queen stared at him for a long moment, then raised her hand. The chains on his wrists glowed brighter. He gritted his teeth as pain tore through him, but he didn't scream. You're strong, she said. Stronger than I imagined. Strength, he said through clenched teeth, comes from the heart, not the blood. The Queen's expression flickered. She lowered her hand slowly. So be it. You've made your choice. Moments later, Ryland was thrown into a glass cell. His body burned with pain, his veins glowing faint blue. Across the chamber, machines hummed, scanning his blood, analyzing his DNA. He tried to stay awake, but the lights above him pulsed faster, filling his mind with noise. His heartbeat echoed in his skull. The machines were trying to rewrite him. Then, a spark. A flicker of power surged through his body. The cell lights burst. The scanners froze. The Queen's scientists shouted in confusion. Inside the cell, Ryland's wounds began to heal in seconds. His eyes glowed faintly golden like Althea's. The Queen watched from the balcony, her lips parting in disbelief. Impossible. She stepped closer to the glass. What are you becoming, human? Ryland looked up at her slowly. Something you can't control. The lights went out completely. When they came back on, the cell was empty. In the shadows of the ship, alarms blared. Guards ran through the halls. Ryland moved like a ghost, slipping through corridors, his strength growing with every heartbeat. He could feel the Queen's power echoing inside him, her voice whispering in his mind. Ryland, she said telepathically. You can't run from what you are. He ignored it and opened a door, and froze. Inside the chamber stood Althea. She looked exhausted, her silver skin bruised, her eyes filled with both hope and guilt. "I came to find you," she whispered. "But she knows, I know," he said softly. "She made me an offer. What did you say?" He smiled faintly. "I told her no," Althea nodded. "Then we both chose the same path." Outside, the ship trembled. The Queen's fleet was readying for war. Rylan looked at Althea. "Then we fight for something better. Not for blood, for freedom." The princess reached out and took his hand. Their joined palms glowed faintly, light merging into one, human and Zathari. And in the distance, the Queen watched through her crystal screens. Her voice was low, almost a whisper. "Let them run," she said. "Let them think they are free. The prophecy isn't over yet." Her eyes glowed brighter, the eyes of a ruler who had just changed her game. The stars burned red above Zethar Prime. The Queen's fleet formed a ring around the planet, thousands of warships glowing like angry suns. Inside the palace, alarms echoed. The air felt heavy, charged with fear and destiny. Captain Rylan Graves stood beside Princess Althea on the balcony of an ancient tower. Below them, rebel soldiers gathered, humans and Zathari standing side by side, armed with stolen weapons. For the first time in history, two species that once hated each other were united by a single cause: freedom. Rylan tightened his gloves, feeling the strange hum of energy under his skin. His blood, now part human and part Zathari, pulsed with new power. Every beat felt alive, dangerous, unstoppable. Althea looked at him. Her golden eyes reflected the flames from below. "Once we start this, there's no turning back," she said quietly. Rylan gave a faint smile. "We crossed that line the moment I bled for you." A soft wind passed between them. It carried the sound of engines, royal fighters descending through the clouds. "She's coming," Althea whispered. Far above, inside the Queen's flagship, Queen Seraphine watched the rebellion through a wall of crystal screens. Her armor glowed like molten gold. Her expression was calm, but her hands trembled slightly on the throne's edge. "The human and my daughter stand together," she murmured. "So the prophecy unfolds." Her advisor bowed. "Shall I give the command, Majesty?" She hesitated, eyes narrowing. "No, it's not yet. Let them see what defiance brings." The Queen rose from her throne, spreading her arms as light gathered around her. Her crown expanded, forming a halo of pure energy. "If the stars demand war," she said, "then let them witness the end of crowns." On the surface, Rylan's communicator buzzed. A voice came through the static. "Admiral Kane from Earth Command. Rylan, we've joined your fight. The truth about our deal with the Queen has spread. Soldiers are rebelling across the fleet." Rylan smiled faintly. "Took you long enough, Admiral." "Don't thank me yet," Kane replied. "She's activating something, a weapon that bends gravity itself. If she fires it, the planet will collapse." Rylan looked at Althea. "She's ready to burn her own world." Althea's voice was steady. "Then we end it before she does." The first wave of battle began. Sky against sky, fire against fire. The Queen's ships rained energy down on the rebels. The ground exploded into rivers of light. Rylan led the charge, his rifle firing streaks of blue plasma. Around him, soldiers fought with desperate courage, shouting both human and alien battle cries. Althea moved like a flash of silver through the battlefield, her twin blades slicing through enemy drones. Her presence inspired everyone, a symbol of unity and chaos. Then the sky cracked open. The Queen's flagship descended, enormous, glowing like a dying star. Its engines shook the ground as it hovered over the capital. The Queen's voice boomed through every communicator. "Lay down your weapons. I am your salvation." Rylan lifted his rifle toward the ship. "You're no savior," he growled. "You're afraid," he looked at Althea. "We go now. Straight to her." The rebels fought to clear a path as Rylan and Althea boarded an old royal transport. The small ship roared upward, cutting through flames and debris. The flagship loomed ahead, its golden hull glowing like a sun. As they neared, the Queen's defenses opened fire. Rylan gritted his teeth. "Hold on!" They dove through a storm of plasma blasts, engines screaming. The ship shook violently, but Althea's hands on the controls were steady. They broke through the shield and slammed into the hangar bay. The impact threw Rylan from his seat. Sparks flew everywhere. When the smoke cleared, they stepped out, weapons ready. Inside the Queen's throne chamber, silence ruled. The golden walls pulsed slowly, alive with light. The queen stood waiting, her crown brighter than ever. "So the bridge returns to me," she said softly, "and the daughter who betrayed her blood." Althea raised her weapon. "You made me a prisoner of destiny." "No more." Ryland stepped forward. "This ends today." The queen tilted her head. "Yes," she whispered. "It does." She raised her hand and the room exploded with power. Ryland's feet lifted off the ground, gravity breaking apart. His body burned with light as his hybrid blood reacted to her energy. "Ryland!" Althea shouted, reaching for him. He floated higher, pain surging through his veins. The queen's power was overwhelming, but he felt something inside him, something stronger than fear. He remembered his fallen soldiers, the faces of those who believed in peace, and Althea's eyes, golden, full of hope. He focused, letting his strange energy expand. The golden light from the queen's power mixed with his blue glow, twisting together in a storm of color. The throne chamber trembled. The queen gasped. "What are you doing?" Ryland's voice echoed through the light. "Finishing what you started." The energy burst outward. The glass walls shattered. The fleet above them froze mid-battle as a wave of light swept through space. When the light faded, the queen was on her knees. Her armor cracked, her crown shattered. Ryland stood over her, barely breathing, his body covered in glowing veins. She looked up at him, whispering, "You've taken everything." He shook his head weakly. "No, I gave you a choice and peace." Her eyes softened, for the first time showing regret. "Perhaps you were always meant to rule, not I." Ryland stumbled, collapsing to his knees. Althea ran to him, holding him close. "Ryland, stay with me!" He smiled faintly. "It's not over yet." The queen's last words faded into the wind. "The crown is yours, human. But peace always has a price." The battlefield was quiet at last. The skies of Zethar Prime had stopped burning. The sound of war faded into the wind, leaving behind the smell of ash and metal. Captain Ryland Graves stood on the ruins of the Queen's palace. His armor was cracked, his hands glowing faint blue from the energy still coursing through his blood. Around him, broken ships and shattered drones floated slowly into the upper atmosphere. The Queen's crown, now split in half, lay at his feet. Beside him, Princess Althea knelt beside her fallen mother. The once mighty Queen Seraphine lay motionless, her golden armor dim. Her eyes were open but softer than before. "She's gone," Althea whispered, tears falling onto the cold floor. "She fought until her last breath." Ryland looked at the Queen's face. There was no hatred there anymore, only peace. "She wasn't a monster," he said quietly. "Just a ruler who forgot how to hope." Althea wiped her eyes, her voice trembling. "And now the throne is empty." Ryland turned his gaze to the sky. "Then fill it. Rule them better than she ever could." Althea shook her head. "Not without you." He gave a tired smile. "You don't need me, Althea. You've always been stronger than you think." But before she could answer, the ground began to rumble. The sky darkened again. A deep vibration shook the palace walls. Ryland staggered. "What now?" Althea ran to the control panel near the throne. Her eyes widened in fear. "It's the Queen's failsafe. A planetary core weapon. It's going to collapse the entire world." Ryland's chest tightened. "How much time?" "Minutes," she said. "If the core overloads, it'll destroy Zethar, and everything in orbit." He looked at the screen. Energy readings flashed red. The Queen's last command was still active. "If she cannot rule, no one will." Ryland clenched his fists. "We can't shut it down, can we?" Althea shook her head. "The system needs a living link, a heart powerful enough to absorb the overload." Ryland stepped forward. "Then I'll do it." She turned sharply. "No, you'll die. I'm half human, half Zethari now. Maybe that's what this power was meant for." She grabbed his arm. "Ryland, you already gave enough. Don't give me your life too." He smiled softly, his hand resting on hers. "I'm not giving it to you. I'm giving it to everyone." They ran through the shattered halls to the core chamber, a massive pit of light and fire beneath the palace. The air shimmered with raw energy, the walls cracking under pressure. Ryland walked toward the pulsing orb at the center. It glowed brighter as he approached, reacting to the strange force within his blood. Althea followed, her voice breaking. "If you do this, your heart will burn from the inside out." He looked back at her, and eyes calm, voice steady. "You once told me I wasn't supposed to exist. Maybe this is why I do. Tears filled her eyes. Rylan! He smiled gently. Hey, don't cry, princess. Queens don't cry. She took his hand one last time, pressing it to her heart. Then stay with me, even in death. He nodded. Always. Rylan stepped into the light. The energy exploded around him. Threads of blue and gold wrapping around his body. His veins glowed like stars. Pain shot through him, but he didn't scream. He spread his arms wide, letting the power flow. The entire planet shook. The core's unstable energy poured into him, and for a moment, just a moment, Rylan saw everything. He saw Earth. He saw the Zethari worlds. He saw both species standing side by side, no longer enemies. He saw peace. And then, silence. A wave of blinding white light rushed through the sky, spreading across the stars. Every weapon, every ship, every engine stopped. The core shut down. The planet lived, but when the light faded, Rylan was gone. Days later, the sky of Zethar Prime turned clear for the first time in centuries. The war was over. Queen Althea stood before a crowd of humans, and Zethari gathered in the capital ruins. Her silver robe shimmered with the rising sun. She raised the broken crown in her hands. Today we begin again, she said. No more queens born from fear. No more wars fought in silence. One world. One future. The people cheered, voices echoing across the horizon. But behind her smile, her heart ached. At night, she often returned to the palace ruins, to the crystal chamber beneath the throne. Inside, suspended in glowing energy, lay Rylan's body. His heart no longer beat, but faint golden light still pulsed within his chest. She stood before the chamber, touching the glass softly. You bled for a princess, she whispered. Now the queen refuses to let you go. A tear slid down her cheek. The crystal flickered, a soft, rhythmic light like a heartbeat answering her. Her lips curved into a trembling smile. I'll wait for you, my bridge between stars. Outside, the twin suns rose again, painting the sky gold and blue, the colors of two worlds now united by one man's sacrifice. And somewhere, beyond the veil of life and death, a faint voice whispered through the stars, I'm still here.